number 72
Wow.
podcast in the country, Dane.
Wow.
You know what? That's what we were earlier this week. We have dropped since then.
Well, that's not true because we're on the rise.
Yes, we are on the rise again because as you listen to this episode, we are rising up. We are rising from the ashes. We are
True.
a phoenix like Harry Potter.
Rising.
Yes. We're just going up, up, up all over again. Okay, third podcast host in the corner. Say what your thoughts are. Okay, there's no thoughts.
Nope.
Yeah,
It's just the ghost.
It is a ghost, and that's just for you. One of our ghosties.
There
Yes,
it
ghostie,
is.
Becky Parker. She thought there was 3 hosts during the episode. She listened, and then she didn't know until she checked our Instagram later that night, and she was like, "Oh, there's only 2 of you."
Who's the third?
I don't know. I think we
don't know.
changed our voices so much.
Hello.
Oh, I have no idea, but I mean, that's cool. That's cool. That's all I got to say. And you know what's also cool? This podcast.
It's the coolest to make it number 72.
Yeah, 72.
We are
So,
better than everyone.
Everyone, yes. So this is episode 36 of the Until Next Week podcast.
You think we suck then?
Okay. Dane, we now have new countries listening to the podcast.
I want to know which countries we now own.
So then 2 new ownerships that we have in these countries.
Czechoslovakia.
It's not. This is where I tell you which countries it is.
Well, I don't like that.
Okay, well, you have to like it because
Okay.
the new countries are Ethiopia.
Nope. That's
Nope.
bad real estate.
And Belize.
Who?
Yeah, Belize. Can you believe it? Can you believe it?
Bonjour.
Bonjour? Yeah, bonjour.
Bonjour.
Oh, wait, what about our Ethiopian audience?
Oh, bonjour.
Yeah, you just said no
Bonjour.
for them. Like, what's the deal?
Well, they're hot. It's too hot there.
Oh, so that's why you can't...
You can't grow grain there.
What the heck?
I don't know anything about
I don't
Ethiopia.
know what you're doing. Yeah. Okay, yeah. So
Ethiopia
new countries. Yes?
Is in Africa?
Yes,
Yeah.
Ethiopia's in Africa.
Belize is in Europe.
I don't know, actually. I think Belize is actually in South America.
South America?
I could be wrong. Am I wrong?
Well, look it up. We have computers.
Oh, we could. Well, this is usually where you jump in and just look. So let's look. Belize.
I would, but
Belize
I have
is
the same.
in Central America.
Oh,
So
okay.
you were way off.
how am I way off?
Well, you said Europe.
There's 7 continents.
You have the ocean, the Titanic, and more ocean, and then you get to Europe.
You don't know that. You can't put the Titanic there. You don't know where the Titanic is.
It's in the Atlantic.
You don't know that.
Have you been there?
No. Have you?
No.
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
Well, I mean, I think it's there, so there we go.
It could be anywhere. I don't know.
Just because you're just attacking me, I feel like this is a great time to go into our Grindsmaker segment.
Ethiopia attacked you. I didn't attack you.
They're going to attack you. We announced them. You're like, okay.
Hey, you know what?
No.
If anybody wants to fight me from Ethiopia, I'll consider it.
You'll consider it.
Yeah.
Only if you listen to the pod and tell some of your closest friends and leaves a 5-star review that you want to fight Dane, then we can get that set up. So, Dane, breathe. Can you breathe? No.
I can't.
Oh, that's good stuff.
I have to tell the people there's mold in my home.
Yes.
That's why I cough a lot now. I'm dying.
Well, is that your grinding my gears?
Low key, mold sucks, man.
It's not
Like,
great.
I can't breathe. I cough all the time. I have no appetite. I feel somewhat sick, but we're getting through it. Don't worry. I told my landlords people.
Yeah, that's
and they're
good. That's good.
Quote unquote figuring it out.
They're adding
Whatever.
more mold. They're trying to mold you out.
They are. It's been 2 weeks, and they haven't done anything.
Yeah, that actually reminds me when I went to a summer camp back in the day, which you already know I went to Kanakuk.
I don't believe you.
One year they decided to add
Mold.
air conditioning units,
Ooh.
which is cool because you usually literally it's cool.
Nope.
They were saying that I guess air conditioning is good for people in the 100-degree heat.
Really?
Because before they just had fans for us.
Ew.
Unfortunately, one of the years I think there was some mold or something. So
Yeah.
each time we would go in the cabin, we would just cough nonstop. Like
Yeah.
you could not breathe. Like it
Yeah.
was so bad. And then you just wanted to leave at all times. I'm like, is the air conditioning really worth mold in
Man.
your lungs?
Well, it's tough right now because it's like I go to work and I'm like, wow, back to the prison. And then whenever I get off work, I'm like, wow, back to the
prison.
back to the poison chamber. That's what I call
which
it.
do you prefer, poison chamber or prison?
Yeah, they're about the same.
Yeah, but the in between, that's where you're good. That's where you're living good.
It's like I can breathe a little bit better at work, but I feel like I'm in prison. But I feel free at home, but I'm being poisoned. So
You can't win.
I can't win
you
right now.
can't win at all. So
That's how it goes.
Okay. Well, any other gears being grinded this week?
yes, I need to tell everybody something.
Please tell them.
I vowed to give you my top 10 haters list.
You did at one point. You've mentioned it multiple times on the pod.
Yeah.
And do you have it yet? Or
I have a theorized list.
Okay.
I have the names. They're just not in order yet.
Oh, perfect.
And so next week I'll be revealing 10 to 6, and then the following week 5 to 1.
That is 10 to 6, 5 to 1. That's 10,
each.
right?
It's 5 each.
Ooh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Top 10 haters.
Okay. That's nice. I wasn't for sure because we were both pretty bad. The Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader things
Yeah,
we've done in the past.
it happens.
So I had to do the math.
Well, every year I come out with my top 10 haters.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just say there's a returning champion.
Oh, well, again, you've actually mentioned it a lot on here, but you've never officially gave your top 10 list on here, so it could be a surprise to some of you new listeners.
That's true. Do you know what else I didn't mention last week?
What did you not mention?
How Lindsay Reed is unathletic.
I think you did.
I probably did.
We said that like 3 weeks ago. You sent a message in, or like you responded to one of our questions on the Spotify, and you're like, "Hey, why is Dane more athletic than unathletic Lindsay Reed?" I'm like, I could read it coming from you, right? Like
that's crazy that a fan would send that in.
I think they took your username. And it's just like, hey, this is Dane Biesmeyer, and because that's what true fans do. They imitate. They have fan accounts.
They're people's, yeah.
And they just knew that you were quote unquote more athletic than former D1 runner Lindsay Reed.
Whoa. Lindsay and I have raced before.
We've discussed this too on the pod.
Yeah, and she sucks.
And you beat her because you were doing a distance run and you sprinted.
Well, she wanted to run 3 miles. That's not distance.
Well, you still sprinted.
I ran a half marathon without training. I can do it.
Okay.
I'm the best.
This is cool. We're having all these callbacks. You did do the half marathon, but you also stopped midway through.
It's not midway through.
And you lost a bet that you'll have to pay up for in the next couple weeks by wearing a dress to one of our K-Life leader meetings.
No, he was going to wear a dress. I have to wear an alternate thing.
Okay. Well, we'll bring that up again whenever it does happen, and we might post a picture. Who knows?
Some Daisy Dukes might be worn. I'm gonna look saucy.
The funny thing is, this is all clothing items probably in your wardrobe right now, right?
Oh yeah, I definitely own all of these things. And I'm gonna show some mid leg, some upper thigh.
Might have to put a warning on these posts.
You're gonna have to. I didn't wear it to the first K-Life meeting because I thought it might scare off some people.
But now you lost the bet, and you're like, I have to.
I have to at some point. It's just Keaton Bliss. Whenever you want me to call it or to call in the bet, it's up to you, man.
Wouldn't it be funny you go, because again, we usually meet at our church, and you walk in, and the pastor's there like, Dane, you're all good?
I'd be like, what's wrong with this outfit? I look good.
Yeah. Hey, my eyes are up here. Yeah.
It's some jorts, a tank top that says "The Rats Are Back" on it, and then my cowboy boots.
Wait, you're wearing that outfit right now?
Oh, nope.
Okay.
I am wearing short shorts right now.
Yeah.
Which I'm not wearing pants, really.
So for all you video watchers, none of you, because we don't have video, you're in for a treat.
That's true. You're seeing a lot of upper thigh right now.
Yeah, upper thigh all day, every day. But you know what? There's no transition here. I was just going to say that I have a Grinds My Gears segment.
I bet I know what it is.
As well. Well, no, yeah, you know what it is because you can read ahead.
It's the oppressive heat that your brother keeps his home at.
No,
77 degrees is unbearable.
He's letting us use a studio.
Tell him I said that.
No, he if he listens to this someday, then he'll know.
I'll tell him.
I don't know if he listens or not. So, but no, my Grinds My Gear is, I am a former, again, college athlete, and I competed with Olympians and so many other high-level individuals. So the natural transition out of college is to join adult slow-pitch softball.
Obviously.
Yeah, obviously. And one of the things that grinds my gears about slow-pitch softball is there is a 3 home run limit in games. Lame. Yeah, it's so dumb.
You're penalized for being good.
Yeah, but usually we don't reach that 3 home runs in a game because typically only like 1 or maybe 2 home runs are hit. But this past Thursday, we did reach the 3 home run limit, and that is, I hit one of them. I just want to point that out. Oh. So I was feeling good, and I wanted to swing away at my next at bat, but no, we already had 3. And if I hit a home run then, it's an out.
That's stupid.
It's a cool out, but it's an out.
Yeah, that's a really cool out, actually.
But it stinks because then you have to swing differently. You can't swing as aggressively. So then my first pitch that came in, I completely swung and missed, and I just looked like a fool. But I did get on. I eventually did get a single again, but I just wish I could swing for the fences because that game specifically, I had a home run that hit off a pole, which is pretty cool.
Ooh.
And then I had a fly ball that went to the fence, but it went about a mile in the air, give or take a few feet. And
a mile.
I really wanted one more at bat because I think if I would have connected, it would have gone a solid 50 to 100 feet over the fence.
5,280 feet.
I said give or take a few feet. So, I mean, it was right about there, but it was pretty sweet either way. And yeah, I think we should just abolish the 3 home run limit. Just like we should, never mind.
We should abolish ties in all American sports in general.
Yeah.
And if you're not keeping score in a game, you shouldn't be playing that game.
Okay.
If you have a child and you're listening to this and you're not keeping score, what's the point?
Yeah.
You're
just hurting yourself, your child, anybody else watching in America.
Yeah. When I was 5 years old, I would ask my dad to keep score of all of my games because there's a winner and there's a loser in this country.
And most of the time you were on the latter half?
It depends on which year we're talking about.
Yeah.
I was great at 5th grade football, less great every year after that in football.
Okay. Makes sense.
Yeah, it used to be elite, you know?
Yeah. Cool. That's nice.
Yeah, you need to hit more dingers, dude.
Yeah, hit more dingers. I'll try in the future. I'll try to get all 3 home runs before anybody else can hit any, so it doesn't mess it up with them.
That's the way it goes.
Okay, so how about some life updates here, Dane?
I have a proposition to make to the ghosties.
The ghosties?
Yeah, because evidently you guys have been flooding our comment section and flooding our DMs and then flooding not the hurricane that just happened, but
oh gosh, wow.
I mean, there probably was flooding from that.
Yeah,
but
probably.
There was also an earthquake in California.
Okay.
So that's not what we're here to talk about. What we're here to talk about is since you are ghosties, I've never, ever, ever listened to an episode of the Ghost Runners podcast. So I don't understand.
Don't say that.
I don't understand your cult. However,
you appreciate the cult.
I appreciate your guys' fandom. So if you guys will submit
and girls,
if you submit an episode that you think I should listen to of the Ghost Runners podcast, that would be the best episode, the most encompassing episode. Give me a recommendation, and the one that is the most recommended, I will listen to.
You guys, you need to come out here and really just flood the comment sections. You could also flood us with 5-star reviews with what episodes you should listen to.
That would also work.
Wink, wink in Apple Podcasts. You know, that other thing we do with Ghost Runners leaving 5 stars. But comment, why are you taking your shirt off?
It's too hot in here. I'm recording shirtless for the rest of the episode.
Just... Okay. Well, I
feel a lot better.
This is nice. This is really good here.
Pants are next.
But yeah, just recommend what you think is the best episode for him to listen to. I obviously would have recommendations, but he wants to see what you all think.
I don't want to hear what Samuel has to think.
Yeah, he doesn't care what I say, even though he does the podcast with me.
I hear what Samuel thinks every week.
Yeah, and he doesn't remember most of it because I'm like, hey, remember this part of the podcast? Like, I don't remember talking about that. I'm like, cool.
I usually black out.
Yeah. As he drinks his, what is that? Peace tea?
Yeah, it's a peace tea.
That's nice. That's nice right there. You got that. I got the Monster. No Mountain Dew today.
No Mountain Dew. It's a little shaky here.
Yeah, it's all good. It's all good.
Getting the shakes.
But just because we're on that pattern of ghosties, ghost runners, etc., I joined the Ghost Runners Fantasy Football Guillotine League.
What's a guillotine league?
So we never talked about this before because I joined this league last year before our podcast even started. Basically, in a guillotine league, there are 18 teams.
Okay.
And each team has 2 quarterbacks. Do the math really quick. 18 times 2, what does that equal?
36.
How many teams are in NFL?
32.
That's not good for 4 of the teams.
That doesn't work, yeah.
Yes, but with this league, the worst team each week gets eliminated.
Oh, boy.
So last year I was in this league as well, which was pretty sweet because they only do 2 different leagues. There's 18 in each league, plus like Jake and Brad have a team, and then sometimes their wives have a team and others as well. So there's realistically only about 30 to 34 spots open for ghosties, and I got in last year and I got in this year. This year the league filled up in about 3.5 minutes.
Nice.
I think I got a team made within about 18 seconds.
Wow.
So it was pretty dope. But yeah, I signed up for that this past week. I think this following, I guess when you're listening to this, if you're listening on Monday when this releases, I'll be drafting the team tonight.
Do you want recommendations?
I have ideas, and I don't really want to jump into it too much because there's people on here who are also in the Guillotine League.
That's true.
Like, it could give them maybe hints of what they should do. But who would you pick number 1 overall if you had that pick?
Well, I need to know a little more details about the league. So
I don't want you to. All I really got to say is there are multiple quarterbacks.
Okay.
And I am the 12th overall pick.
So you can start multiple quarterbacks.
Yes, you start 2 quarterbacks.
Is it a super flex or is it 2 quarterback just starting?
It's a 2 quarterback start.
Okay.
I think 2 wide receivers, probably 2 running backs. You probably have 1 flex guy, a defense kicker.
Okay.
Something like that.
So
who would you take for your number 1 pick? I only want to know your number 1 pick. That's it.
Number 1 pick. In a 2 quarterback league, I'm going to go with Josh Allen.
That's a good pick.
That's a good pick.
I don't think he'll be around until pick 12, but I hope to get someone along those lines. I think that's what will be the strategy for the first round, and then I don't want to go into the strategies for other rounds. I don't want to say.
I can give you my fantasy MVP for that league.
Who would,
somebody who won't go number 1 overall?
Jordan Love.
No.
Dak Prescott. No, backup guy. Third the streak for the Cowboys.
Trey Lance?
Yeah, Trey Lance. He's the MVP.
Goat.
Hey, everybody, if you're listening, pick Trey Lance tonight. Pick him.
Do it.
Yeah,
He's
I would
the
love
goat.
that.
But Justin Fields. He's my fantasy MVP.
People, literally the other week, I was in a comment section with somebody, and it was...
says the Packers fan.
It had a picture like Justin Fields... who's the quarterback for the Steelers?
Kenny Pickett.
Yep. So Kenny Pickett, Justin Fields, and Jordan Love were all the individuals in this post. And yeah, people were saying like, oh, Kenny Pickett, he'll have the best season. Oh, Justin Fields, he'll have the best season. And obviously me as a Packers fan said Jordan Love. And people were like, oh, you're crazy. Like Jordan Love's going to have the best one? No chance. Like Justin Fields will be the guy. And I'm just like, yeah, I mean, he did lead his team to a 3-14 record last year. Like, that's pretty good. That's pretty good.
Well, there's a difference between fantasy goodness and actual NFL goodness.
Well, I think this was just saying individual goodness, but yeah, you were going fantasy footness.
Individual
fantasy
goodness. I think Pittsburgh would have the best team out of all those teams, but it's like Kenny Pickett, I've heard good things about this offseason silently. They're like quietly, Kenny's having a good offseason.
Yeah.
Jordan Love, I've heard, has shown what he needs to show in order to be taking that next step. But people have Fields as the odds-on MVP this year.
No, I don't. He has a lot of potential. Yeah. I don't think he'll be an MVP. Like, I mean, if I were to pick somebody right now, I would say Mahomes is going to repeat. I had to pick one person. I know you hate him, but I'm just saying if I had to pick one person, if I had to put money on somebody to win MVP, it would be Mahomes.
Well, yeah, but you don't win money that way.
Yeah, I know. You don't win much, obviously, but I don't see Justin Fields maybe could be top 10. I don't think he'll. I don't even think they'll even be 500 this year. I think the Packers with Jordan Love, I think they'll be sneaky good. I think they'll win the division. I think they'll go either 9-8 or 10-7. Lions will probably be decent again. They'll probably be in second place, and then. Who else? Bears and who's
Vikings.
Vikings. I think Vikings, they kind of showed they weren't that good at the end of the season. They'll get third, and I think Bears will be last again. Because Jordan Love, as you remember with Aaron Rodgers, he always said he owned the Bears. True. And he left and went on to play with the Jets. But what was cool is before he left, he gave part of his ownership stake in the Bears to Jordan Love.
Dang it.
So, I mean, he's not going to lose against them. It's pretty awesome. That's what I use. In the comment section, I'm like, hey, but you can't. I know he didn't start last year, but Rodgers gave him ownership stake, so he's going to be better than him. They're like, you can't just say that. I'm like, no, he literally gave him ownership stake. Like, he's going to be better than Justin Fields. And this guy was looking at him like, I'm done.
I was very petty to a guy on TikTok because last year Colin Cowherd came out with his prediction of the NFC North, and he was like, and then the Lions are going to finish last and the Bears third. And I was like, well, flip the Lions and the Bears and everything else is good for that division. I agree. Some guys like, are you serious? Like, the Lions are so bad. They've always been bad, blah, blah, blah. I'm like,
well, I mean, but remember their quarterback was the guy who was former Goff, right?
Jared Goff,
yeah. Who looks like Ben Rector, fun fact.
Well, I commented to this guy. I said, I didn't know we were talking about the past. I thought we were talking about the present construction of the teams. And he said, no, they've always been bad, mismanagement and stuff. And I was like, no, like they have a better roster. They got really good this year, and the Bears got really bad. And he goes, come back to this when I'm right. And I said, deal. Months later,
you had that notification in your phone ready to go. Like, hey, I got the receipts.
Oh yeah. Months later, I went back in the time machine. It was legit like 8 months later.
Yeah.
I said, hey, who finished in front of the Bears this year? Oh wait, every team in the NFL did, because they got the #1 pick. And
they
this
were
guy
3-14.
Yeah, this guy goes, you literally have no time to do anything else. And I was like, no, you told me to come back here, and I told you I would.
I said I'll keep my word.
Yeah.
I've been thinking about this daily.
Oh man, because I am petty beyond belief, but I'm also competitive beyond all belief.
It's so true. It honestly is so true.
I'm like, no, you said to come back to this comment when you were right, and I'm here. And he goes, bro, I took the L. Just let it go, all right?
No. I'm going to make sure you get the L. I'm sending you a shirt in the mail with a big L on it. Like, that's how petty I am.
Fly the
Actually,
L.
open your door right now. Here I am. Here's the shirt.
Fly the L.
Yeah, seriously, fly the L. That's...
But the only last thought I have is that the Cowboys are going to win the Super Bowl.
Okay,
for sure.
that's a great.
Sure.
I mean, you said the best way to win money is to pick the odds-on not favorite. So you can win a lot of money if the Cowboys win.
The long shots.
They won't win.
They're gonna win it all.
I bet I would not be surprised if they made the playoffs and then lost in the first round.
No. This is the best team I've seen in 25 years.
I mean, that's not saying too much.
We're awesome.
So good. So good. So good.
It's going to be great.
But you know who also is awesome?
Hold on.
Yeah.
Let me read.
It's Taylor Swift.
Oh.
It's Taylor Swift.
I thought it was going to be Alvaro.
No. Hey.
Alvaro?
Later, Alvaro. We'll get to him.
Shout out to Alvaro.
Well, now you know you have to listen because Alvaro, you're getting a shout out later, and also right now. But we're going back to Taylor Swift. So here we go. She's continuing. Yeah. Huh.
T-Swizzle.
Yeah. She's continuing her takeover of the world.
That's true.
It's pretty cool.
Our overlord.
Yeah, obviously. All hail Taylor Swift. Just kidding.
Whoa.
Jokes. Just kidding. It's a joke.
It was Elon.
It's Elon, Dogecoin, Taylor Swift, etc.
They're all in it together.
Yes. It's all part of the big plan.
True.
They're the Trinity.
Nope. Nope. Dang it.
So yeah, we mentioned a few weeks ago she announced her 1989 Taylor's Version album. And with like her most recent tour, she produced like a GDP that was higher than like 40 countries, which is nuts. But I guess like the other day, she announced that she's now bringing her tour to the movie theater because why not? You know, if people can't buy tickets unless they spend $1,000, might as well spend $19.89 for a movie ticket to see her concert.
Yeah, isn't it like $1,300 was the average Swiftie experience?
I think if you for like the resale market, because you could buy the tickets originally much cheaper, but it got pricey quick, so the average probably was well over $1,000. But for $19.89, which is again the album, you can see her in the theaters, which is pretty cool.
My favorite album.
Yeah, it's a good one.
Wait,
it's a very good one.
$19.89?
Yeah, that's how much the tickets are.
How do they dictate the prices?
Well, it's because it's not like a normal movie thing. So I think because it's so like special, it's like a 3-hour deal, and it's I don't know. I think they can just say how much it is. So I think I've heard it's $19.89, and obviously they have been doing very well with that because I guess. I was looking up, and it said like Fandango reported on Friday that the singer's film ranks in the top 10 all time for best first day pre-sellers for a concert movie. And I guess it joined like Avengers Endgame, which is one of the biggest movies of all time.
I loved that movie.
It's so good.
Yeah.
And the Star Wars The Force Awakens.
Guarantee you Endgame was better than this Swiftie experience.
I would tend to agree. And then Spider-Man No Way Home.
Never seen it.
Again, a good movie. But it's just crazy to see that it's. I think concert movies in general just seem weird to me.
Because
weird. I want that experience of being at the concert itself, but I don't know. It's obviously I'm kind of out of the norm here.
Yeah, why would I buy like the experience of watching other people watch you perform on stage? It's like I'll just listen to your music.
Yeah,
I mean,
I I'll consider it.
Yeah.
I'll consider going, but I also still want to go to the concert itself, which there's a small chance I could next year. I don't know. I'll have to see.
It's kind of like the live version of songs. Like some are better than the originals.
Need to
but
Breathe.
Most aren't.
Need to Breathe and Ben Rector, their
Yeah.
live albums, fire. They're so good.
But you're biased.
I am biased.
Yeah.
Yep. So biased. But
Need to Breathe is our sponsor.
Yeah, Need to Breathe, definitely one of our sponsors. Shout out.
Yeah.
But I also saw that apparently they had $26 million on pre-sales for that Thursday night, which Spider-Man No Way Home, for reference, had $16.9 million.
Wow.
It almost doubled Spider-Man on pre-sales for that first day in theaters.
That's my yearly salary.
That's
That's
but
unbelievable.
I'm grateful that even though you make that much money, that you still make the time for this podcast.
Yeah, it's hard being an international lawyer, spy agent by day, and home
Alone at night.
home renovation
sorry.
specialist at night. Home alone at night.
Yeah, home alone at night. Dane, it's okay. You
Just
can pick up
crying
the
in my
shirt that you
bathtub.
pulled off. You can wipe your tears with it.
The SpongeBob meme where he cries a sweater of tears. You've never seen it, but
That's
you
good.
homeschooled kid.
That's solid. But a few other quick things. I guess they've already sold out 250 IMAXs, which is pretty sweet. And something that's really kind of awesome is they displaced the Exorcist movie.
Yeah, down with the devil.
Yeah, I guess the Exorcist was supposed to release on that day. So because Taylor Swift, our overlord, obviously, but not really, she made them basically move their movie to a different day because they know they would do horrible if they had to compete against Taylor Swift.
Taylor Swift walks in, says move. They said, okay, yes,
How
please.
far?
Yeah, how far would you like us to move?
Yeah, yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts.
She's I'll say it, the Michael Jackson of our time.
I mean, this could be. I think she's bigger.
I don't know about that.
I think she is. It's crazy.
I always say you got to let it breathe before you can make like not hot takes, but like
I thought you were
comparisons
gonna
like
say, I
that.
thought you were gonna say hot chocolate. I
That
was
too.
like, where are you going
You gotta
with
let
this?
hot chocolate breathe before you can drink it.
Yeah, because it's too hot. Yeah.
It is too hot. Warm drinks are stupid.
Are you
but-
saying like you have to wait until like their career's done to really see?
Yeah, because it's like the historical perspective. You don't know how big they're going to get.
Yeah.
Because your opinion's always going to be changing otherwise. And I feel that way about LeBron and everybody. LeBron's career is basically over. But like with T Swift, I want to wait until she's more or less done.
Releases her album for the third time, and then
Basically.
cease.
Yeah, but then you can just take a step back, look at the two side by side, and be like, yeah.
Yeah,
This one or that
and
one.
I'm not saying like obviously Michael Jackson was a more talented like vocalist, like purely, and like a better dancer and stuff. But just like the pool that Taylor Swift has on like so many people is ridiculous. And obviously Michael Jackson would probably be different if we had social media back then.
Yeah, I was going to say that.
And that probably would have made him seem even bigger than he already was.
Yeah.
And it's just kind of hard to compare the two, but both of them are crazy, crazy, crazy talented. And I think it's a fair take to say that she
Yeah.
is at the least like the Michael Jackson of our time.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard because, like, think about the way we stream music and the easy accessibility of music that we have
Yep.
now. It's no comparison to the way they were doing things back then. Having to buy 8-track tapes, having to buy records. It's, like, ways more simplistic now. We have everything we could ever want in the palm of our hands right here.
Yeah.
And I can look up a Taylor Swift song right now and have it playing in seconds. Somebody would have to run down to the store and buy a record and time it up just right in order to listen to a specific song of Michael
Yeah.
Jackson's.
It's crazy how much more like viral stuff can get.
Yeah,
And
because I love vinyl records.
It's
So-
good. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Also, the last thing that we have to say about Taylor Swift is what, Samuel?
You wrote, I did not write this, but
Oh.
Dane wrote, "Why won't she marry me?"
Oh, well,
But he didn't put it in a question form. He just put, "Why won't she marry me?" So is that a question?
it's more of a statement
Okay.
because it's like Taylor, I have a job. I have
You make $16.9 million a year, you said.
I make something a year. I have a salary, and also like I'm a wanted fugitive right now. So because I got a ticket.
So random.
I got-
Yeah, you got the ticket like a few weeks ago.
Well, she loves Bad Boys, obviously.
Bad
blood.
bad. And that's why you took your shirt off. You're just that bad.
No, that's because I'm that hot.
Yeah, why wouldn't she want you? You're that hot. There you go.
Why wouldn't she want me?
Man, that's good stuff. But I think that's,
Alvaro.
Wow, you just jumped into it.
Bring him on.
Yeah, I was going to say Taylor Swift talk is dying. Alvaro, yes, we mentioned him last week in the Ghost Runners episode. He is a ghostie as well. I met him in KC. Super awesome dude. And he's also super awesome because he listened to our podcast before we met, and he's been listening after. And he did leave us a voice memo.
Let's go.
Our second voice memo we've ever received, directly on through our link for voice memos, because obviously your sister Lindsay, the greatest athlete of all time,
Trash. Absolute
also
garbage.
left us messages, I think, on Instagram. But here, we'll just throw it up.
Not trash
It's
person.
a 59-second voice memo.
1 minute.
Yeah, which is great because he was right under the time limit. And yeah, we'll just throw it up and see how it goes.
I thought this was America.
It.
Leave however long of a voice memo you want.
On this app, you only can leave a minute. So that's
Whatever.
why Lindsay went the Instagram route, so she could leave a much longer one.
We'll make our own
But this
app.
is the cooler one. Use the link in our bio. That's cool to say. Link in
No.
bio. But yeah, here's Alvaro, the one and only Mr. Beast.
Hey guys, it's Latino Mr. Beast here, coming to you guys straight from Alexandria, Virginia. What's going on, Samuel? It was fun to meet you and hang out with you at Rendezvous. What an event, what a weekend that was. Hey Dan, you seem like a cool guy, but you're a Cowboys fan, which it's a bit of a problem. I'm a Washington Commanders fan. But we both seem to love Jesus, and we both seem to love Mountain Dew. So I think I can look past the Cowboys thing. And Jesus covers a multitude of sins. So thanks for the shout out in episode 35. I really appreciate that. Again, it was fun hanging out. I feel like I should guys ask you a question. I got 3 seconds. So my question is.
That's funny.
Yeah. Shout out Alvaro. He pulled a. You don't have this context if you haven't listened to Ghost Runners, but an inside joke for a while is people would always leave a voice memo at the very end. It's like, hey, and one last thing. they're like, guys, oh, you're so original. You've done it again. But you had no context. So that made it that much
I
better.
didn't know what that was about.
Yeah,
I just
yeah.
thought that was funny.
Yeah, that was good. But,
Yeah, no, the Washington commies, they
just immediate attacks.
well, Trent May's a commie fan. And
Yeah. Shout out Trent May, our other Commanders fan.
Yeah.
Springfield guy. Shout out.
Yeah. But don't worry, Alvaro. First off, my name is Dane.
I thought you might say something when he was like, Dan. I'm like, it's probably because you're a Cowboys fan. He decided to disrespect you slightly.
Well, it's not the first time somebody's called me Dan. There's this crazy girl named Carmen who called me Dan one time and thought it was hilarious and kept doing it.
Lieutenant Dan.
Well, she leans over to her friend, and it was at one of our other friends' birthday dinners, and this girl Carmen leans over to her friend and goes, "What?" And I can clearly hear her say, "What's his name?" And her friend goes, "Dane," and she goes, "Okay," and she goes,
Okay, I'll get it. I got it.
she goes, "Hey, Dan," and laughs to her friend, and I'm like, I'm like,
this is awkward.
I'm like. And she clearly did it on purpose, and called me Dan and said Dan. I'm like, that's some high level humor there.
That's hilarious. You said my name wrong.
Yeah, I was like, I was like, okay, well, I never want to speak to you again.
Yeah, that's good. But we do want to speak to you, Alvaro, again because
I want to speak to Alvaro again.
Yeah, you're a fan. You're a fan of the pod. This is awesome.
Yeah.
Shout out for you listening. Hopefully you're listening to this episode and you didn't give up since last week. But it sounds like you're in for the long haul.
Man, big shout out to Jesus.
Yeah. Shout out to Jesus because otherwise you would not be able to be friends because the Cowboys Commanders thing, it wouldn't work well for you.
It's bridge illustration where Jesus is the great bridge to our divide and the chasm.
The Cowboys on one side,
Exactly.
Commanders on the other.
Exactly.
And then Jesus with the cross.
Jesus bridges
right
us
in
together.
the middle. Man, I'm never going to think of that illustration the same again.
Take it.
But that's good.
But you should.
Yeah.
If only we had somewhere else to go with, just reviews in general.
Yeah. So that was our only voice memo. So yeah, Alvaro, thank you, and I hope we answered your question well.
We really encompassed it.
But yeah, anyone else, if you want to leave us a voice memo, just follow the link in our Spotify and Apple. There's a link at the bottom of the description. You
The
can leave
Latino
up to
Mr. Beast.
Yeah, that was good. That was
That was
good.
funny.
But yeah, you can leave a voice memo, and we'll throw it on the pod and answer it. hopefully you ask the question, or maybe just say whatever you're thinking. It doesn't matter.
You can cuss us out for all I care.
We can bleep anything.
That's true.
But yeah, so we also have some Apple reviews. I'm going to read one of them this week. We'll probably save the other one for next week. But this one is a 5-star review.
Ooh.
Yeah?
My back hurt.
Oh. I was like, 5 stars? Awesome. Yeah, it's a 5-star reviews on Apple Podcasts by Braden Holmes. And the message is entitled, Hi. And it says, I watched the first 2. It's very funny, and I love it. Highly recommended. Greatest review ever. That's all we need right there. It's highly recommended.
Braden sounds like a 17-year-old child.
He might be right around there. But yeah, shout out Braden. Thanks for listening. I hope you're still listening now. And yeah, just tell your friends. I mean, I'm sure other people in high school will, assuming you're in high school, because obviously we don't know who you are.
Well, if you're in high school, you got a lot of dead time, or if you're in a sport, you have even more dead time.
Yeah.
Bus rides and practices.
Yeah, and just be like, hey guys,
Put this on a locker room.
You should check out. Well, don't actually do that because that's only one listen. Be like, hey everybody, we should all listen individually with our headphones to
At the same time.
Yeah, to the Until Next Week podcast. So ready, go.
Ready, go.
That's the way I want it, and then be like, okay guys, something really cool. We should all leave 5-star reviews for this podcast. That'd be so fun.
I have a funny question.
Yeah, a funny question, maybe funny answer.
Of all the quarterbacks in the NFL, who do you think is the most likely to listen to our podcast?
Tim Tebow.
I disagree. But
all the quarterbacks, I would say Trevor Lawrence.
why?
Because I feel like he's definitely. I feel like it would be one of the quarterbacks who is probably, I don't know, one of the Christian quarterbacks most likely.
Yeah.
And Trevor Lawrence is the first one I could think of that fits that sphere. But I think there's some other ones.
Kirk Cousins is a Christian.
He is.
Yeah.
I need to watch that documentary because I heard that apparently he shares a lot about maybe that part of his life.
I wouldn't say a lot,
Or
but
something?
a decent amount. Like
Yeah.
there's a part of an episode that he talks about it.
Yeah, I'll need to check that out. But I feel like there's different. I bet you there would be some NFL players who would get a laugh out of this podcast.
Carson Wentz is a Christian.
He would be another one who would listen. Trey Lance will have a lot of time.
That's
so
true.
he
That's
can
true.
listen.
Carson Wentz apparently led the Bible study on his team when he played with the Eagles.
Okay,
So that's pretty cool.
That is solid. If we talked about, what could we talk about? What could we talk about to get Aaron Rodgers to listen?
Psychedelics.
That's what it is. I was trying to think. Then he would be all over this podcast.
Aaron Rodgers is actually my answer that I was going to say most likely to listen to our podcast because he'd be
He's-
crazy high and he'd be like, these guys are actually really funny.
I'm in a darkness retreat, but man, all I got is Until Next Week podcast, and it's good.
My
it's
only
good.
connection to the outside world is the Until Next Week podcast.
This is my
And I
joy.
really enjoy it.
Man, Aaron Rodgers is a stud though. He's a solid
He's
player.
something else.
He's just like everything about him is just like you either love him or you hate him.
Yeah.
But he's just like honestly kind of a goofy guy, but also just like a solid dude.
His personality is like what? Why'd you say that? Why'd you do that?
Yeah, it's like, man. And then he would always go on like the Pat McAfee show like every
Yeah.
week and just like chill and be like, okay, guys, yeah.
That's
how-
when I knew he didn't care about.
Yeah,
his
he was just
position.
jumping, talking anything.
Yeah, he's like, I'm gonna ditch like Tuesday practices so I can
Yeah.
go on the Pat McAfee
Yeah.
podcast.
And then like one of the episodes, it was his profile picture thing on Twitter. It's like a picture of him pulling up his foot and his toe was in like the camera. It's like, yeah, this is
Ew.
the one that I hurt. And it was like, what in the world?
oh, when he had turf toe,
Yeah. I think that was like literally his profile picture. I think it was his foot that he was like holding up, I think, during that episode. But yeah,
heck?
solid guy. And you know who also, Dane, do you know who also is a solid guy?
Michael J. Fuller.
Yes, Michael Fuller. He has been in our comment sections or text threads a lot lately, and you think he's the man. I mean, I do too, but why do you think he is the man this time around?
So there was a K-Life waiver that I needed him to fill out.
Yeah.
Well, I didn't need him to fill out. I needed somebody to fill
Yeah,
out.
because we are all in K-Life, but Michael moved away
Yeah, R.I.P.
to
Michael.
become like a doctor or something cool like that.
Something stupid like
Yeah,
that.
but yeah, so he's obviously not in Springfield K-Life anymore, but he did something for you, Dane?
Yeah. So in this, so K-Life is a middle school, high school ministry, and you need like some references when you first apply, and then apparently I only gave 2 of the 3, and
Wait, you don't have to fill out a whole application again.
No, I didn't. He had to fill out like why he thinks I'd be a good leader.
You don't have to fill that out.
What?
You don't need to because you've already been a leader.
I know, but Joe sent it to me and said, "Hey, can you have somebody fill this out for you?"
Oh.
It wasn't the application. It
Oh.
was the like, why do they think you would be an adequate leader?
You did not send me that.
Well, I know because I think I only had 2 of the 3.
Oh, like last
Yeah.
time around? Okay,
Yeah.
I was like, okay, everybody, if you're leaders last year, you don't have to fill out anything. You're all good. Dane, You need to fill some stuff out still.
Yeah.
We just got to make sure you're still in for this.
Yeah, I've done 2 years with only 2 references.
Okay.
So I guess I need a third for year 3.
Okay, I didn't realize that's what the form was originally. I
Yeah.
thought it was just like a signed-up application form.
No, not that.
Okay.
So Michael filled it out for me, which I'm glad because I was sitting there thinking about, okay, I'm like, who? And it asked like, why do you think they're spiritually mature enough in order to lead a small group of kids?
We
And
could
I'm
have sent
like,
it to Alvaro.
I could have sent it to Alvaro. But I was like,
You would have put Dan, though.
yeah, it's true. That would have been a red flag. But I'm like, who can I send this to that would actually fill it out and actually like know me well enough to be like, oh yeah, he is spiritually mature? Because ask why on there.
Yeah.
And I was like, heck, Michael served with me in K-Life. Michael, would you fill this out for me? And he said, yeah, for sure. And then I told him I would quote this right here. He told me to say that.
Do I have to bleep this? I don't want to bleep this.
No,
Okay.
this is good.
Okay.
He said, say that Joe Hendricks is trying to indict you, but I saved you just like Donald Trump.
Every time.
All I know is Joe Hendricks is the government and Michael was Donald Trump, and he freed me, I guess. He pardoned me, if you will.
That's about as political as we get right there. That and whenever Michael comes on that podcast, like
That's
episode
true.
16, when he just went nuts. I'm like,
well, what do you expect when a communist comes on the podcast?
and cue the text coming from Michael to us in about 3 days about him saying, no, I'm not a communist. We're like, Michael, you know you are. Like,
Yeah, hold on.
I don't know.
I'm going to look up communist philosophies
No,
here.
we don't need to go down this
You're
route.
right, I'm not.
No, we're good.
I'm not.
We're good. Do you know, are you still looking this up?
I'm looking up the Communist Manifesto.
Man.
Ooh.
You're looking up the...
I want to buy this and send it to Michael's house.
You know, don't that's like so crazy that you do, like, that's like almost as crazy as like a T-Rex being a dentist. Like, that's how crazy that is sending a Communist Manifesto to
They
him.
have a lot of teeth. What can I say? Sounds
Well, no,
like
to
they-
him being a dentist, like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, the short arms being a dentist, so you'd have to like jump on top of him basically.
All I know is Michael's full name is Markle.
Markle? Meghan Markle. He's
Sorry.
actually a princess.
Sorry, I'm high.
Yeah,
I'm
no,
not
he's
high.
not.
I'm drunk. But
Every time. He's
I'm
not,
not.
but...
Michael Karl Marx Fuller.
Are you good?
I'm reading a biography about Karl Marx now.
Okay. I think we're good.
Yeah.
I know we also have this week, we have another riddle, I believe.
Ooh.
And, you know, last time we had that riddle, it was a great time, and you just had no idea what it was.
That's true.
And I kind of want to make you sound clueless again.
That's never happened
So,
to me.
are you ready for this riddle, Dane?
I would like to talk about the history of.
Okay, so here's the riddle. Here's the riddle.
Go ahead.
Are you ready? So,
Feudalism.
nope. Here we go. Okay. So a farmer has 26 sheep. One of the sheep dies. How
Okay.
many does he have left?
A farmer has 26 sheep. One of them dies.
How many does he have left?
26.
No.
Farmer has 26 sheep.
I'll give you 15 more seconds to think about this, and then we'll wait until next week. Shout out to give you the
Dang it.
answer.
Farmer has 26 sheep. One of them dies. How many does he have left?
Yep.
Farmer has 26 sheep.
You have 4 seconds.
He has
Three,
one of them dies. How many?
two,
Is it?
one.
It's not 25.
Nope.
It's
so,
not
okay,
26.
so I'm not going to say. We'll tell you next week what the answer is, but for now, you are incorrect. So if you, a listener, if you know what the answer is, let us know. Put it in the comment section or something. Or
So-
leave us a 5-star review or whatever. Whatever you feel like, you know?
So it's not 25 or 26.
Nope.
That doesn't make
So, yeah, you'll have to wait until next week to hear the answer, but I'm sure some of you already know. Probably like the doctors out there or whoever else tells you the answers, Dane. But, hey, we're done. Hey, we're the sponsor of the week.
Farmer has 26
Okay,
sheep.
and our number one, he's still thinking about it, number one sponsor of the week. You know you love yes, Jesus
Some of you may not love
is
him.
our number one sponsor of the week. He keeps coming back. Like he won't stop. Like he's always there. And I believe you have a verse of the week, maybe.
So yeah, I gotta find it real quick.
Okay. Well, I'll just keep on shouting out Jesus. Yeah,
it's in
I think
Mark.
around episode number 1, he was our sponsor, and then he kept that going in 2, and then he did keep it in the 3rd episode, in the 4th. 5th was a close one, but he was still there, and then
It's not in Mark 4.
6, and
Maybe
then
it's in John
7, and then 8.
I found it.
Okay, I was like, how long do I have to count here?
Okay.
Okay, here's your verse of the week. Shout it out.
I'm also in our church's youth group called Light Company. This week, we were teaching them about identity and your identity in Jesus. And so they had me and this other guy, we were teaching 7th and 8th graders. We were talking to the kids about the woman at the well. And I was like, man, this is kind of a deep passage for 7th and 8th graders.
Yeah.
/ they had me read verses 1 through 29, which I'm not going to read 1 through 29. But I'm like, man, this is a lot. Mm-hmm. And so I read all of this to the kids, and then my other co-leader was like, all right, well, the first question is, how do you think the woman feels? And the kids are like, oh, I don't know. And I was like, yeah, the kids have no context, and they probably weren't listening to what I just read. And I was like, okay, kids, so like here's the context of what's happening around this situation.
Yeah.
Like this woman is at the well. Jesus rolls up at the well. It's about midday. Midday is when the slaves or the servants would come and draw their water, or the outcast in society would come draw their water, because it's the heat of the day. It's not when like the regular people were supposed to come like get their water. And then also, Jesus is a Jew here. This woman is a Samaritan woman, and Samaritans were not supposed to talk to Jews. It was a whole class like thing. Like Jews were greater than Samaritans for some reason. And also at the time, women weren't seen as very reliable like within culture. So all those things add up to this woman's not supposed to be talking to Jesus. And then Jesus goes on to say, you can gather this water here that will give you temporary relief, but I will give you water that will never make you thirsty again.
Preach.
Living water. And then he starts telling her of all these things that like nobody in the world knows about, like this woman that she's had 5 husbands, and the man you were living with now is also not your husband. And she's like, how do you know that? Well,
he's like, yo, I'm Jesus.
Yeah, basically. It's like the first time that he's revealed himself to somebody who's not like a disciple. Hey, I'm the Son of God. I'm the Messiah you've been waiting 400 years for. And it's to a woman. And so that's like Jesus just showing like
very countercultural.
Yeah, it's very countercultural to the times, and he's like, I care for the least of these. I care for everybody who would come and call upon my name.
And I shouldn't do this here, but like, and that includes Cowboys fans.
Oh my goodness!
I'm sorry, I should have made sure there. I was like, I'm not going to do it. I'm like, I'm sorry, but
it's so cool to show how Jesus. Like some people will say, I've had people tell me before, they're like, oh, if I stepped into a church, I'd burst into flames. I'm like, that's just not true.
No, that's literally like, not.
That's the
what
most
it says.
False thing like that's ever been said, because like there's something that's really cool that I've heard said before, where if you were to pick any one of the disciples or people in the Bible to work on your church staff, all of them would fail. All of them would not be allowed to work on a church staff, because like you think about like David, the most godly man in the Bible, committed adultery and murdered a guy. Probably not going to be allowed on a church staff. You think about Samson, committed adultery and murdered a lot of people and messed with dead things.
Yeah.
Not going to be allowed on church staff. You think about Solomon, smartest guy who ever lived.
But had like 1,000 wives.
Had 1,000 wives and concubines and rich. And at the end of his life was just like, you know what? Nothing matters. Which I like that a lot. Ecclesiastes, I should say.
Shout it out.
But yeah. So Jesus being the guy who is not just for one section or type of people, but is for everybody, and wants all of his children to come into the kingdom.
That's solid. That's good. Little mini sermon with Dane there. Like, shout it out. I was just thinking something kind of random, kind of weird. Not really that weird, but someone somehow became like, who's not a Christian, and they listen to this, and somehow became a Christian from our podcast. That would be crazy. That would be dope.
That's the point of why I wanted to do this.
Yeah, that's the only reason. It's a clout after that. So,
well, that's why, for sure, Jesus is the sponsor of the week, and I can go on mini sermons.
He's
every
number
week.
one. And then we have Jake Trust and Art, he's just sticking around. He's just hanging around at this point.
I haven't heard from him this week.
Yeah, I saw him last week at church. He was trying to talk me into joining the Stratomatic League, which
He's got a sick mustache now.
That was a bushy mustache.
I love it. I love it.
I think he did that to try to convince me, like, hey, we're serious about this league.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I will play a practice round with you. I don't know if I'll do it for sure just because I say yes to too many things and I don't want to overload my schedule completely, but I'll still consider it. So this is me still considering it, and I'll still do a practice round with you at some point, and I know the draft isn't until like January, so I got some time.
Yeah, maybe you clear up. Maybe you quit doing everything.
Yeah, so who knows? Who knows what will happen? But yeah, shout out.
Just
Jake
quit your
Trustin.
job.
Go to his website, buy his book, buy some art from him, do something. If you are listening to the earliest episodes, like especially you Ghost Runners listeners, you'll hear that we gave out a lot of his art. So just go buy some. Or his book, at least. His book's a lot cheaper.
He's got pretty good art. He does.
He's a solid guy.
He does murals for a lot of things.
Yeah, it's awesome. He's so talented, so creative, and just a solid dude, which is why he's our number 2 sponsor of the week.
I can't even draw in straight lines.
Yep. But for number 3, similar to last week, I don't know what, I think it was along these lines, but all of the ghosties.
All of them.
Yes, all of them for turning out for our last episode, especially you Flamingo ghosties. You know who you are. Elizabeth Haney and Brandon Faulkner. You obviously are listening to early episodes because I don't even remember what episode it was, but especially like the first few, we're like, hey, if you text us whatever word, we'll give you a piece of art or shout you out or something. I don't remember the context, but I know we said something about flamingos and you heard it.
All I know is the wolf runs at midnight.
Was that something that we said at some point?
Maybe.
I don't know. But the wolf runs at midnight, and it's getting close to midnight, which means I think we're about to close up episode 36 of the Until Next Week podcast.